Yeah, so for me, like
Okay. One, two, three.
yeah, so for me, the penny really dropped is when I was selling something to this white guy, 5 foot, if that must have been easily 20, 22, 23, and he came to meet me in his Aston Martin. I said to him, so what do you do then? He goes, oh, I work in the city. Like, as what? I said, oh, in sales. I said to him, so what? Working in the city got you that? He goes, yeah, I live in Westminster. Said I've got an apartment in Westminster. Yeah, I'm flying over to the Bahamas in a couple of weeks. And we just started talking. Anyway, he drove me around the block, went to the cash point, gave me the money for the product, and he drove off. And I just thought to myself, do you know what? I'm good at sales. Surely I can do that. And this guy's got no headaches over his head. He's got no police he needs to look over, no enemies. I think it was a week later, I went and applied for a sales job. And it really started there. And I just thought to myself, do you know what? Let me give this thing a try.
So I know that you've been successful from a young age in terms of your money-making ventures, even though at one point when you were really young, you were influenced to go the wrong way, but you're still making money. Then I know later on in your life you were successful within the city, and right now you also have, different streams of income, and you're always looking for opportunities. So what do you think is the overall mindset for somebody that wants to be successful financially?
The mindset is just get it by all means. I think the same mentality that you have, or I had for road, and for doing stuff on the streets or doing stuff illegally, it can easily be brought into the legitimate world. The same way you get up early to go and bust shots or to do whatever that you need to be done. Get up early and go and get your goals set, go and get your plans done, your tasks for the day. It's the same mentality. It's that just being driven, you're absolutely driven for it. It's simple transferable skills and that mindset of by any means necessary, legally, may I add.
So what do you think is the key qualities to be successful in business?
It's just drive. It's drive. There's a lot of people who, put a lot of emphasis on education systems, and I know a lot of people have been to university, A stars, first, and all that. You could have all the knowledge in the world and all the qualifications, but if you've got no drive, you've got no hunger. Hunger is always, and drive and ambition is always going to beat that. So, if you feel that, oh, I'm not smart enough, just keep going. This is the plan. How are we going to do it? Just keep going and keep driving. I think in the end, you'll always succeed. They will always beat the smartest in the room. Those who are much more hungry. If you're hungry and smart, that's a real benefit. That's double bubble, but I think it's the hunger and ambition and determination you've got to do to succeed and complete the daily tasks that's going to lead to those goals.
Okay, great. So in your early years, you were known for being let's call it a street hustler. You were very savvy. And at the same time, everyone, you've got a reputation when you were also principled, that you always stuck to your words. Whatever you said you would do. I was shocked that you were able to transfer all of your skills abilities into the corporate world, because I know you were top in sales within a city for so many years. So how would you compare the skills needed to succeed in the street compared to the corporate world or in sales in the city?
For me, I think a lot of it came to rapport, and that's relationships you had with people. So when I was delivering products or selling my products, it was always a relationship. I never saw them, or they never even saw me as their supplier. I was their friend. Never that. When they call me, a lot of people, a lot of my friends, a lot of my peers at the time, they would treat their customers, or kitties, nitties, how you want to describe it, with aggression, aggressive to them. Come here, come and get this. Here, it's over here. I was never like them. Very much, how you doing? How's your day doing? What's going on? We can have that quick conversation. And obviously that always depended on the different types of product, but I was their friend. So I always got return business, regardless. They always came to them. That is the same kind of skill that I brought over to the corporate world. Listened, built rapport with my clients, They always came back to me. We dealt good business, and even when they left the company, they went to start another company, and they brought me in on there as well. So it's just about, that's one of the key transferable skills, is just having rapport, listening, and understanding people. Yeah, I think that was one of the main qualities I had, really. And as I said, always delivering on time. You said you're going to be at a certain place, I was there.
Okay, so that's interesting. You mentioned rapport and working with people. Today, it seems like society's broken up. You have a lot of people who feel victimized. You've got different people, whether it's BLM or just different groups that feel marginalized. Do you think you're able to succeed with a mentality of feeling like a victim, even if it's true, even if there's evidence that, let's say, you're discriminated against? Do you think you could succeed with having that mentality?
Well, first and foremost, there is a lot of discrimination, being your race, age, sex, or whatever. So that does happen, and it is bad. It's a terrible thing that happens. But for me, you know, it was a simple thing when I was growing up as a kid. Is that my mum used to say to me, "You're black. You're gonna have to work 3 times harder than a white person." And I was like, "Well, why is that? Because you're black, and you know, it's different for you. You're going to be seen as, they're going to see you as lower. So you're going to have to graft as much, you know, 3 times as hard to get what they want." So I thought to myself, right, let me try and graft as 4 times as hard. And I think a lot of it's just come to the mindset. So I didn't have time to be a victim. You just have to keep going. There's the goal. Sitting down and crying and doing whatnot about it is not going to get me where I needed to get. So you just have to literally grab that shield and just see, right then, this is it, all or nothing, all in, let's go. When I was on the streets, you know, the role models were really the olders in the end. The guys who were making money, who had the chains, the cars, the girls, those are really the big role models. And obviously other people like in America who were on the roads and streets, like Supreme McGriff, Prince, the Supreme Team, AZ, Rich Porters, those type of guys. Those guys who were making real money, because they were black from inner cities like us, and they were making real dough. Those are really who the influences was, and then a lot of it was, you know, watching Jay-Z, Streets is watching. In my lifetime, I remember counting money back in the days. I'm just watching that DVD, thinking this is how we need to get it. Leaving from street life, road life, onto the corporate side of things, it was probably someone like Reginald Lewis, one of the first black billionaires on Wall Street. So it was now, my role models were now becoming corporate giants. So for him, another guy called Henry Kravis, KKR, Michael Milken, ironically another criminal, but these guys were making millions and billions. You know, it was clear to me that that's where the real money is going to happen legitimately. So it's just a transition phase from criminals into real corporate titans and gladiators who are making real money. Carl Icahn, Bill Ackman, these are all big Wall Street and financial guys. And a lot of them started off really in sales. So it just made me think, you know, if they can do it, I can do it. If I was good in sales on the road, I can easily be good in sales in the corporate world.
So how do you transition from being good at sales on the streets, selling essentially illegal items, to transitioning and going into the corporate world and being one of the top salesmen in your organization, at least globally?
Yeah, so it's just that mindset. It's a whole different mindset now. So, but same principles. So instead of, you know, what you're selling is illegal, this is legal. This is the legal world. It's a different way you speak. It's that rapport that you need to have with them. I always had rapport with my customers on the street level side. Always polite, always courteous. I wasn't there, I wasn't their supplier. I was their friend. They never saw me as their supplier. I was their friend. So regardless whatever happened, you know, I was always first. If I didn't have a product, they'll wait. My product was not the best. I'll tell you that hands down. Nowhere near the best. But because they liked me, because they had that relationship with me, they always came back. And I used that same mentality over in the corporate world. You know, they always liked me. All my clients liked me. We had a relationship. We had a rapport. So, you know, they really came back to me quite regularly, and I was quite successful in that. And just also having the ability to understand what people want. So, you know, everything I've learned on the street level as a hustler there is easily adaptable to the corporate level. Easily. It's just changing your mindset, changing your behavior in some stages. You can't tell me a kid who's doing country lines, who's running the line, has got country lines, is doing this, is doing that, dodging the police, dodging the ops, dodging prison. All those risks, all those headaches they're doing, and they're successful at making money illegally, cannot use those same transferable skills in the corporate world.
How long were you in the streets for, would you say?
Bro, I guess you kind of start off with doing petty stuff, you know, stealing from shops, and you know, I guess I don't start from that from what, 12, 13, up to in your 20s, into your 20s. And I think it all changed when one day I was selling to this guy. He was a good, came recommended from a close client of mine, and he came and met me in his Aston Martin. He was what, 5'1", 22 years of age. You know, we just started talking, and he just said that, yeah, I work in the city, I do sales. And I said to him, what, sales got you that Aston Martin? He goes, yeah, it is. I'm about to go to the Bahamas in 2 weeks, and I've got a penthouse in Westminster. So anyway, we were talking, and he drove me around, you know, gave me the cash, and he went. I remember after he left, I was just looking at him thinking, what, this short little boy's got this Aston Martin, money, place in Westminster. I was living at my mum and dad's at the time. And he's got no headaches. He's got no police chasing him, no dodging people around, not putting his life at risk or at jeopardy. So I just thought to myself, do you know what? If I'm good enough in sales on the road, I can easily be good enough on the corporate side of things. So I just applied for a sales role, and it really just started there. Cold calling for a company, and I chose sales because it's a low barrier of entry, and it's literally the harder you work, the more you get paid. You get bonus, you get your basic, and you get your bonus as well. So it's, you know, it's endless, and it can take you to the top. So I think definitely get into sales. If you're a guy who's maybe hustling the streets, selling, you can easily make that transition. It can be done.
You've got a reputation, you know, at least at that time, of being one of the top salesperson in your company. So what skill set or what advice could you give to someone in terms of how to increase their conversions and basically, essentially, how to be very good at sales?
I think there's probably just not one answer to that. There's so many things. You just being persistent, but not annoying. If we're talking about this for sales, I think so many salespeople just think email blast is the right thing. Having the right information about the prospect, knowing them, and just coming across as someone who genuinely wants to help them. That is the main thing. And do your research. Do not send a mail blast to 2,000 people saying the same thing. Hi, we believe we can help you, because it should be a bit more, Jim, good afternoon. Firstly, congratulations on the promotion that I've seen that you've had from ABC. It's astounding. With that, I actually thought that this would be a good time for me to get in contact with you to discuss an innovative way for blah, 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 blah. Because, as you said on your LinkedIn profile, innovation and digital strategy is your key things that you're looking at the moment. And I think our product would have synergy with yours because blah, blah, blah. I don't know, that's off the cuff. But something like that. It's about being different and standing out from the crowd. The same when I was on the road. I stood up from the crowd. You know why? Because I spoke to my customers. I was different. I was their friend. Now, some people are going to watch this and listen to this thinking you can't have that with all your kitties. Yes, I know that. A B kitty, if we're going to be really talking, you know, a kitty selling heroin and crack is something different to a weed or a cocaine customer. So yes, it's totally different. But it's about having that relationship and synergy with your clients, knowing what they want, knowing what they need, and delivering, and just standing out. So one thing I've realized nowadays, and I've seen so much now, is online courses. Don't get me wrong, everyone's got a hustle and whatnot, but there are some good people doing it, but the majority is just BS. There is so much now on YouTube and on social media and the internet that you can learn it yourself. And a lot of it, you want what online courses is for? It's for a lot of it, it's for the lazy people. And the lazy people who just don't want to do their own research and their due diligence. Some of these courses tell you to do the most basic things. Modules that take one module is like a 2-minute video. And you're paying £150 for that. Some of these online gurus and so forth, they've got rich by selling you the online course. That's it. Do your due diligence and your background. See what they have done. See what properties they have actually bought, what they own, who they work for, what they've done previously. Don't get me wrong, there are some people out there who actually have legitimate good courses that they're selling, but I'm very much old school. No one's going to really give you the same, the secret sauce to how everything's done. It's done quietly. So it always kind of bewilders me when someone's willing to tell you everything about how to become rich, what they're doing, what they need to be done. If you're so good, give it to us for free. That's just my thought on it.
Okay, so what advice would you give to, let's just say, an international business leader or entrepreneur that is visiting the UK, let's say for the first time in an area like London, and what kind of places would you recommend them to go to dine or to meet like-minded entrepreneurs or people with that aspirational mindset?
Yeah, I think for number one, it's definitely going to be Mayfair. It is just full of aspirational, wealthy hedge funds, financiers in that area. You've got Novikov, Amazonico, Sexy Fish, so many bars and restaurants around there, which is just full of colourful people. Obviously the Ritz down there. Also Kensington, places like Ours is also a good one. There's so many. I think if you go to in the city, you've got the Neds, Madison's, Jimbo Law. There's so many places there to go out there for good food and networking, especially in the summer for London. It really is the best. Other places you can probably try to is obviously the Mayfair Hotel and the bar. Literally one of my favourite places to go to. But yeah, those are the places I really recommend for good networking and good chat.